It didn't start till 4:30.
Oh, man. Yes, indeed. Well, here we are at our pre-meeting. Charlie, anything you want to go over with us about this, or did we pretty much?
I think we've pretty much gone over most of it. Sarah said that she sent us email over to me, so I'm gonna pull that open in just a second. But Sarah, did you want to go over any of that?
Well, I was just wondering, I didn't have a chance to check and see, look into the code, but. So the state passed last year, and I didn't catch it till I was doing something else, that there are certain parking requirements you can enforce and can't enforce. It's like, so any garage that's 20 by 20 must be considered a 2-car garage.
Okay.
But you don't have to consider it a 2-car garage if it's smaller.
Okay.
I think you have to accept tandem parking, even though we all know that never works, but. Somebody's like,
Are we talking for that in general in the code?
it's just code, yeah, just in general. And then there was a bunch about, and I haven't dove into it, because I was just looking at the detached ADU. But we do have to have a detached ADU ordinance, but we do, but we probably want to review and see if it meets the new state requirements.
So it does with one adjustment, which is in your packet. So we are making that adjustment. And then.
So actually, the other ones, you made the adjustments based on that, right?
Sorry.
Oh, the guarantees and the adjustment and the appeals board, that's all in this.
So, yeah, so appeals has already been done. You'll see that in black line here. The adjustment that Tammy just ran also is in there. As far as the ADUs go, detached ADU versus internal ADU, there's only certain things we do, like internal ADU, we cannot regulate size at all. So you can have a huge ADU.
Or access, or like
Yeah.
anything.
Right. So there's a whole lot if it's inside, but also the way that we do ADUs and the way that a lot of the jurisdictions do ADUs is different. We're kind of saying you could build a house with an ADU in it. What the state code, how the state code reads is if there is a house that has an ADU, then you can't do X, Y, and Z. So if the house already exists and someone's gonna retrofit it with an ADU, that's one thing. If the house exists and they're gonna build on an ADU, that's another thing. If they're gonna build the house straight up with an ADU in it, a third thing. So there's some limitations of what we can do, but our code already addresses it. It's pretty lenient on all of it, with the exception we've got like front doors and stuff like that, but.
And then, so anyways, as I was looking at that, it refers to the parking, and that's when I saw that, I'm like, when did they pass it? And I guess that was last year.
And we also address it as a standalone ADU building on its own.
Yep,
Right.
yeah, and that's the other thing, state code, as far as detached ADUs go, they haven't given us a lot of really strict standards. But the internal is really important that we pretty much don't regulate, is basically what they're saying. So if you look in the code, there was I think it says, except for an internal ADU, these standards apply. So we just accepted that out that way.
Wow.
So, and as far as parking goes, these changes is very light on parking. I don't know if I even put a ton of stuff in that. We need to just redo parking all together.
And that's what I would like to see, yeah,
I think that's a longer conversation.
Address it. And I sent you a link just to this affordable housing overlay we worked on. The process that we went through, I really liked just going to the planning commission and the city council and seeing what they wanted to see as far as setback and density standards. So that I'm using that as a planner to kind of vet developers before I bring it to work session, before I bring it anywhere and say, hey, these are the standards they want to see.
Yeah.
You can bring whatever you want to planning commission, but if you want a work session, you need to meet these standards. And I think it might filter all these work sessions, so we're getting better if we say, hey, this is what we want to see. So we're not doing this negotiation and spending hours on a negotiation when we really have a standard we want.
Right.
That might help you in talking to them.
I would love it. As it stands, there isn't a minimum, right? So if they pay $25 or $50 or whatever, if they pay $50, they get to be on the agenda and ask the question. And so we'd have to run that through the commissioners, see if they're okay with going the other.
I'm kind of like, they want to pay us each $100 great, but
Or-
where they're not paying for my time here, I really
Yeah,
don't feel
right.
obligated to do their design for them.
Yeah, agreed,
That's kind of my frustration with it, is I feel like they're wasting our time.
yes.
That's why I'm like, you can go straight to the meeting and get turned down, or you can meet the standards and then we'll iron it out in this group. When you've come to the mark, then we'll discuss it, so.
And discuss what has a real good potential of getting passed.
Right,
Yes,
yeah.
Because we all know that most of them, I've already met with Charlie before them too. Most
Yes,
of them know.
and
So
they
it's not
know
like-
the expectation, they're just not,
It's not like when they meet with us, it's the first time they've had any idea of what they should have.
yeah.
We might have a couple of those on the work
I'm-
session agenda tonight.
And so I would love for those discussions to go, like, we set down our expectation. I'd rather not spend a lot of time.
You'd rather bring it here than in there, is that what you're saying, Sarah?
No, I'd
Af-
rather it came
After
here.
Charlie's, oh,
I'd rather they knew what to expect, so we can say, hey, this is the density we expect, these are the setbacks we expect.
That's
Once
what-
you've got it there.
that's what Charlie's.
Yeah, but they don't always listen to Charlie, that's the problem.
How
I
long
know,
you-
I know two
Sometimes
guys,
He is
I
the
know
boss.
two guys that have been here that
Sometimes
don't
they
wanna
want to be
listen to
heard.
Charlie or the planning commission.
Yeah.
That's what I see is I'm sure as staff, you can't just tell them no, because we don't have a standard to tell them no.
Right.
And so I'd like to filter, obviously, we never can tell them no when it comes to bringing it before us in an actual meeting.
Right.
But a standard for a work session, when they're not
Yeah, we
really
can
paying
adjust
for
that.
our time, I feel like we can set a standard.
We can adjust that.
Well, and I think to Charlie's defense, I think he does try and tell him, because I think we've all been together long enough that he knows, Tammy knows. Felix knows that, you know,
But there isn't a barrier to entry that they can enforce, so we can figure, if we can
Right.
figure out some sort of a barrier entry that gives them more pushback, more power, and then I
That
think
would be
that'll
great.
help our work sessions be more productive.
So what did we change? They're gonna come here before they see Charlie, or?
No,
we
we
haven't
still,
changed anything.
They're just gonna have a set objective they have to have. They're gonna have everything prepared and ready. Charlie's gonna tell them what they're gonna have.
And-
for us.
And don't waste your money or our time.
Did we adjust the fee for work session?
yeah, I think
From
we.
your perspective, would that be more beneficial if you're coming in to apply?
No,
You
we
understand
find out.
what
Well-
You had to have ready.
Oh, it's at the very end of
You know,
the packet.
what Sarah knows, we have work sessions down in Harrisville.
No, there's a-
Unfortunately, I think they're only once a month. But they're very beneficial. Cause they bring in the fire chief, generally,
There's the fire, water, like.
utilities.
Utilities.
They bring all the utilities in, and so you can sit there with your engineer, and they can bat it back and forth with the city's engineer. By the time you get out, 2 or 3 of those, you're pretty much done.
And
But that's not with the planning commission though,
Well,
right?
there is one representative from planning commission and
Yeah.
one representative from the city council.
Okay, you
there.
meet with the planning first, and that's kind of a rubber stamp.
So
I
something
don't
we,
know if you've been to them
Oh,
in
meeting,
Harrisville,
the meeting with the planning commission?
yeah.
Oh, just with the, if you do work, so usually it goes to projects meeting before it goes to planning commission there. So
Right.
vet it a little bit more, yeah.
And then, who's the main gal out there?
Jenny Knight?
Jenny. I keep forgetting her name. Then Jenny kind of tells them what they're gonna do.
so as far as getting on the agenda for work session, we can certainly do better gatekeeping. Yeah, what's $50 to come and spend a few hours with you guys, right?
That doesn't even
we-
cover.
No, it doesn't. We could always, tell them that they need to submit a rezone application, a complete rezone application. We do have minimum standards for that. But we can go over what you guys want to see as far as those minimum standards go. So the minimum standards is they have to give us an open space plan of some kind, right? We don't have a whole lot of detail in that. We do tell people we're expecting 10 acres per thousand, so figure that part out.
Okay.
And then they write something about open space in their narrative and they say, that's my open space plan, right? So sometimes that still gets through to you guys without it being a decent open space plan. Same with street connectivity and pathway connectivity. So they've got to have those and they have to have a plan for utilities. If it's a particular zone they're asking for, that zone would already give us the density. If it's density above and beyond, they'd have to, specify what that is up front.
And I think what's hard is we're doing so much by development agreement. And we need to gotten together with some sort of a density and setback standards, because that's what we're fighting in this meeting is the density and setback standards, even under development agreement.
So the R115 zone does have those minimum standards. Is it-
Yes.
You want it to do, you wanna see it different than that?
Well, it does, but the ones that we're getting are, well, we've got the form-based code where we've got issues. And maybe it's just the form-based code we're hitting that, because we've got it, you're right, the R115, they should be hitting those.
Okay, let's find out in tonight's work session.
In defense of the developers. I mean, we're talking about 600 pages tonight. I didn't read it, Charlie, I hate to admit that. If you're sending some developers in there, they haven't read it.
No.
So they need to be massaged as they go along, so they're not being stupid, it's just that everything. Even if you did read, you want to pick everything up in one meeting.
Yeah.
One reading, it's a
It's a lot.
lifetime journey.
Yeah,
I agree with that. I think that when we were talking or hearing the conversation, it feels like there's some that have used it as always with every situation, right? And I would hate,
Who lets them know?
yeah, right.
I seen you in action.
I would hate for, like, remember the guy a few months ago that came in because he wanted to be able to use his garage as an auto shop, right? I would hate for somebody like that to be discouraged from coming and having a conversation with us and just going straight to the meeting or being like, cause when you put a fee on it, for him, that might be an intimidation factor, right? I would rather them come and feel open to be able to discuss it and give the feedback before spending money to go and waste it in there for us to do.
I think it's just probably the form-based code stuff that's been a problem.
Okay,
Not that I agree with you, initial use stuff, or, yeah, we don't wanna
okay.
cause a problem there.
so just in the last, well, and maybe it's a developer. Right, are there more developers that were,
Sometimes maybe I'm blending different situations, like
Well-
what's happened here, what's happened.
If I'm being completely honest, with you, I completely agree with Jed. But there have been some where. I think there's been some things that have been built with it, I guess, that might be a harsh word, but. The first time we met with Black Lion. I felt like it was inappropriate to do it offsite at a time that they scheduled, they paid for somebody to be there, I didn't feel like that was appropriate at all. Because you didn't have to come, but you felt like you had to come, because you're gonna miss out on something, right?
right,
So, and I know we've talked about that, and that's not supposedly not gonna happen again, but. Even with that group, there was a lot of meetings where we would tell them what we wanted, and the next time they'd come back with the same thing in different words.
Yep.
So their attorney was making Liam work a lot harder, because Liam had to say, no, it's the same thing, right?
yeah,
And us too, and. I don't feel like that's abuse to me, that's abusing it, that's not just trying to figure out what you need to do, that's them trying to manipulate it over and over and over. And there needs to be something to stop that, and maybe it's what we had to do last time, saying, you know what, we're done with this. Come with us with the right thing to get the point across.
I mean, when it comes down to it, and this will sound probably very selfish, I don't mind serving our community. I don't like working for free for a developer. I just feel like that is not fair.
Yeah.
Because they've got plenty of money they're making, and to be abusing us like that.
Oh, you've
Feels
got the wrong
really
picture of that.
What was that?
You've got the wrong picture of that.
It's
Black.
it takes all the players to make the game though, and if we don't have the developers, we don't get, we don't get it anywhere. So it takes everybody playing the game. I do think sometimes we get taken advantage of, maybe we take advantage of some situations, so I'm not bent on any kind of. Extreme retaliation going, in a 180-degree different direction from what we normally do. But we do see some stuff that's BS. And it takes up time. And so I don't disagree that if we can vet things better with whoever the applicant is initially. Great. And if we could help you as staff.
yeah,
Be able to make that vetting process more rigid,
yes,
it would maybe help the whole process. It
Yeah.
would help to the degree that what Claire's talking about. And maybe it would get rid of some of the fluff stuff that we spend a lot of time on that we really shouldn't have to.
yeah. I think part of the biggest problem is when it comes to the development agreement side or the rezone side being a legislative item, sky's the limit, right? And so they come in, talk to Tammy, they talk to me, well, if they don't get the answer they want from Tammy, they come to me. If they don't get the answer they want from me, they go to Rick, you know, it just
Right.
goes down the chain.
Go to the commissioners.
Well,
and, yeah,
at some point, we're like, hey, we'll let the planning commission tell you that you can't do it this way.
right.
And you guys usually know when those ones are coming down the pike, because we're usually not out in front of it saying, this is a great idea.
And I think it has something to do with how many times your eyes roll.
Yeah,
I think also though, if we're gonna be strict with them, which, and I think maybe it's because it's more lately we're seeing this, right, with maybe one or two developer. But, and I'm as guilty as anybody with this, we need to make sure that our conversations are giving justice to the topic that's at hand, because we get off on tangents big time. And go down these rabbit holes and start trying to get Charlie to think about policy and all these things, and the applicant's sitting there like, this has nothing to do with me, like waiting. And we got 3 other applicants that are waiting for their turn, and we just wasted an hour that had nothing to do with it. You know what I mean? So we have to check ourselves too. If we're gonna be strict on them, we need to be strict on ourselves. And again, I'm just as guilty.
That's fair.
as anybody, so
That's fine.
probably the most guilty.
So,
any questions about the code?
no.
Charlie's like,
Were adjustments we made for the density in the Form code also reflected in our regular code?
And the R zones,
Yeah,
I didn't make that change.
Not yet.
I just made it in the form.
so maybe that's something we can look at when we do parking or
Yes.
something like that.
Yeah, so we've gotta talk about parking. We do have to talk about the street regulating plan. We don't have to do the big thing that I showed you last time, but we do have to do a little bit because some of our lot sizes are changing. That's actually on the regulating plan, so we'll have to make just little tweaks. So there's that, parking, there was one other one that I know we need to talk about with you guys, and I can't remember what it is offhand.
Okay.
But yeah, so there are 3 things that we definitely need to get into, outside of this. I was grabbing as much as I could that I thought would be slam dunk items, but if any of it's not slam dunk, I'll tell you again what I said last week, just in your motion, tell me what section it is that you don't want to go through, and I'll hold that one back.
The best thing to do is I felt like you did a good job with where we're at right now. So I'm good with that. And something comes along, we're gonna be making changes. Yeah, that's simple. And that's maybe in a lot of circumstances, the best way to do it. Have we killed that item until the meeting? Is everybody satisfied?
One other question oh, it was just, Tammy drove me around seeing more firsthand all the different areas. And we do really need to make some adjustments, I feel, to, like, we talked about what our street regulating plan is based on what we've approved. And so we're not doing that with this approval. We haven't made adjustments, but that is in the pipeline
Yes.
too.
Yep. Yep. In fact, I've got 2 versions of the street regulating plan. One that is very minimal changes, just kind of shrinks things up a little bit, but doesn't go beyond what we had already looked at. And then I've got the one that you guys saw last time, which is just looking at the whole thing.
Okay.
So if we can look at both of those things and figure out.
So that can be on the list.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds good.
And I think we got plenty to do this year, so we'll have that. Commissioner Frohr has asked that the planning commission have a conversation with members of the public between 4700 West and the river to talk a little bit about potential changes to the general plan there. They do want to see a general plan amendment of all of the property that's east of the river, so east, you got the curve, everything under the curve of the river. They want to see a general plan amendment to just make the fine tune adjustments based off of what some landowners have brought to us. Commissioner Frohr has asked for us to get with some of those landowners, bring them to the planning commission during a work session and just have an open dialogue about what they would want. And a lot of that, you got the general plan, but then you also have the free width alignment. And Commissioner Frohr was very much like a community be unified in what we tell UDOT, because we're pretty sure UDOT's not going to go the way that we want them to go. So it's gonna be a political push.
We feel like they might not want to go the way we want to go, but Weaver County's finally decided that we're gonna do what Weaver County wants to do and let UDOT catch up.
So you're gonna do the roads, is that what you're saying?
What's that?
You're gonna do the roads where we want them to be, and then it will be kind of sanctified.
Push them to work
Be a lot
faster if they
simpler.
realize if they don't like it.
Exactly, if they do something different. And
Yeah, I hope we get a bunch of developers together, pool their resources and actually build that road, that 2550 that heads out to the river and goes over. It's got Flagship that it affects, but then, Bennett, if that freeway doesn't go through Bennett, then Bennett works. If it goes through Bennett, then Bennett's dead. And right now, that's the only place that it can't go through, is either Bennett or it could jump the river and go through Black Pines industrial area.
Unless they jump it all the way up to 4700 west.
Yeah, unless they come too far east.
Too far east, yeah. But you gotta remember that one of the plans that they had proposed years ago was up at the power towers.
Yeah,
So
very far east.
it's all over the place.
Yeah.
You know, literally within that 4 mile block from I-15.
Now,
Anyway, so to the point of Commissioner, Thrower, and thanks Charlie for bringing those items up. And I attended a work session with the commissioners on those items with Charlie and Rick. And yeah, I think that's a great way to go. In fact, Commissioner Thrower called me this afternoon. We had kind of an extended conversation in regard to both of those items, the general plan opening and the potential highway corridor. So, and he wanted to make sure that that got out to the planning commission today. So thank you for that. And he also wanted me to pass along his appreciation for this planning commission. And he really was very thankful, grateful for all the work that we do, all the time that we put in. And it was very nice of him to give us that compliment. And I think that we've all been together long enough here that we've made something that works. And we've been through a lot of processes that make it work. We've been through a general plan process. We've been through a code change process. We've been through, you know, the incorporation of the Ogden Valley. So there's a lot of experience that sits here, and he wanted to express his gratitude for himself and for all of the commissioners. So, and I'd like to do the same thing. Thanks everybody for showing up. We're one person short. We may be one person short for a bit of time. We'll kind of see how that works out. But really, it takes a lot to do this on a monthly and twice a monthly basis like we do, and for everybody to show up like they do, it's pretty commendable. So thank you all for doing what you do. You're here.
Oh, man. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
And no matter who replaces Gage, the county's gonna miss it.
Yes, they really are, true. We've got a lot of good momentum going right now with everything that we've done. And it's stuff that's needed to be done for decades, and we've jammed it into like a 5 or 6 year window. Yep. And it was a lot of big change for the citizens. But it's what we gotta be doing. So, thanks, everybody. Cause we've had to grow some thick skin over time, for sure. Hey, meeting time?
We're going back there here, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Lance? What are you up to?
Oh, yeah. Not much, yeah. What are you on? Come on. I totally.
Not much.
Welcome everybody out to our second meeting of April for the Western, I quit saying that, for the Weaver County Planning Commission. As I keep forgetting, we've been consolidated into one with the incorporation of the Ogden Valley. So thanks for joining us, and please join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's see, roll call. Everyone's here except for Commissioner Andreotti. He's excused from tonight's meeting. And it looks like we have a fairly small, but we do have a legislative item on our agenda, item 1. Which is legislative item 1.1 CTA 2025-04. A public hearing and consideration for changes to the Weaver County Land Use Code, removing or adjusting provisions made irrelevant as a result of the newly incorporated Ogden Valley, and making other amendments to better tailor the code of the needs of the growing unincorporated area. Director Ewert and presenter Ewert.
Apologize, commissioners, I'm just trying to get into the meeting.
While you're waiting for that, Charlie, and for everybody that's in attendance, there are some work session items on the agenda also, WS 1, 2, and 3. They'll hold those discussions in the room behind the auditorium here.
Okay, so today's meeting, appreciate having you guys here today. Normally we wouldn't have a hearing on the second Tuesday. I just couldn't get this out to the public for notice in time for last week. So appreciate you guys being here for the public hearing. We will need to have a public hearing after we're done chatting about the changes and the adjustments. I don't have a big presentation for you guys unless you want me to have a big presentation for you guys. So, okay, good. You got my memo. You got the bullet points of the adjustments that are being changed. Are there any questions that you'd like to go over?
Commissioners, any questions? Charlie, having looked at it, I thought you did a good thorough job of getting everything taken care of. And like we talked about before, anything that comes up along the way may require a change anyway. So we'll deal with those as they come up, and any other things that need to be updated. You already have those on your planned schedule, I'm sure.
I got a list.
Okay.
Okay, well, I've got it up on the screen. If you guys want to focus in on anything, that's great. Otherwise, I'll sit down.
Okay. Commissioners, if there's no questions for staff, then I will go ahead and open up the public hearing, or ask for a motion to open the public hearing. I'll ask for that motion.
Sure, I'll make the motion to open the public hearing.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor of opening the public hearing?
Aye.
Opposed? We are now in public hearing. Anyone from the public that would like to come and speak on behalf of this item? Now's the time. Come to the podium, give your name, address, and 3 minutes of what you want to tell us. Okay, we give it a good solid 10 count. Seeing no public wanting to make comment on this item, I'll ask for a motion to close public hearing.
So moved.
Do I have a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? We are now out of public hearing. Any discussion? Okay. Commissioners, I'll ask for a motion for legislative item CTA 2025-04.
I guess before we do a motion, I just wanted to, on record, make sure the public knows how much time we have spent vetting this. It may seem like a quick decision, but this has been a lot of time going through the code, not only on Charlie's part, but as commissioners, we really looked through what he's done. And that's why we don't have a lot of comment now, is because we've had work sessions and we've been setting it on our own. So just wanted to make sure that was on record.
Great, thank you, Commissioner. Good comments.
With that, I guess I can make a motion.
Okay.
A motion that we, have a positive recommendation for legislative item V, 1.1 VTA 2025-04. Changes to the to the Weaver County Land Use Code, removing or adjusting provisions made irrelevant as a result of the newly incorporated Ogden Valley, and making other amendments that are tailored to the code to needs of the growing unincorporated area. That's my motion. I don't know if there's anything else to say.
Very good. Commissioners, any comments on the motion? Okay. Hearing no wants to change, I'll ask for a second to that motion. Have a motion in a second. Roll call on this one, legislative item, yes? Okay. Excuse me, Commissioner Pons,
Hi.
Commissioner McCormick. Aye. Commissioner DeVal.
Aye.
Commissioner Wicker.
Hi.
Commissioner Lindsay. Aye. I got it this time. Thank you. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. Next item on our agenda, item number 2, public comment for items not on today's agenda. So if anyone would like to make a comment to the commission, please do so. Okay. And item number 3, remarks from planning commissioners. Just to back up what Commissioner Wickman said, yeah, we did spend a lot of time working on that code change. So that puts everything in line with the code being in line, it being that now we are one planning commission. Just one area of the county that is under that code. Okay, next item, planning director report. Charlie?
Some of you know that, Rick has been a little under the weather. He actually, says he is, on the mend.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm glad to hear it. Danny. Liam, any counsel from legal?
Much as I like providing counsel, I do not have any tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn to our work session.
I move that we adjourn to the work session.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Hi.
Okay. Take 5 and then we'll meet in the room behind this room. Thank you.
I want to have a story and I want to be away.
Well, it was in a repeat of last week's discussion. You're here forever.
This is down to his place. Do you need my glasses? It's done.
Well, I don't know. That's last week.
She said, no, it's a code stuff.
No, we hashed out last week and tried to clean it up. Just going for
I
that.
was gonna say, it depends on what,
I may have embellished that a little bit, Charles.
it depends on what it is.
That's what Lacey.
700 pages, no, we could have spent some time going through each page.
We spent that time.
Oh, sorry, 600, did I say that?
He added 100.
It was
O'clock today.
It was about 3,000 pages of code, it was off the tree.
Oh.
So it'll be about 9,000, every time I say it, it's 50 years. Although, I did get word count, I think the word count was in like 500,000. So, getting paid by word, he's rich.
Sure. I did not see.
Yeah, I got that. Place, I'm sure. I was stuck down.
Shotgun, yeah.
I have a first version. Yeah, okay, cool.
That's interesting. Hey.
Got the money from all that. So. I'm just like, oh, I was checking their hands.
Yeah.
So just, I think they all come down from the bird farms and. I was thinking, this was a roost that when they, it was 4 years ago now, and they haven't stayed up and sank because it was going over. He said there's like 50 of them, there's probably just around there.
Yeah, I could get down the road.
Crazy.
Then we can still live with some.
Yeah.
Well, the water bottles here, so. We're gonna go.
Liam's not here either, maybe they're having a,
Yeah, Liam left us.
oh, he left, so,
And
oh, he left, I can give it around.
You're gonna get in trouble here, we're not voting on.
We have
left
to
us.
Oh, I think we.
No,
Let's be relative, so I need some.
so all of my things are actually in Centerville area.
Oh,
There you go, the unhealthy.
Yeah, yeah, I know my mom.
Never 10 or man.
In my hair? Yeah, so
I mean, one day don't figure it.
okay, so I was.
And they're extremely.
Yeah, I'm not, I'm like.
That's like natural. No, it's just.
Yeah, yeah.
Reassembled, right?
Yeah,
You ready?
my lenses are.
Sure am now.
It's out.
Good transfer.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us at our work session. Looks like first item on our work session agenda is the discussion regarding, just a second, I'm gonna get my old guy stuff on. Discussion regarding a proposed rezone from the A2 to the R115 zone for approximately 8.72 acres in the Riverbend development.
Lacey, that's you.
All right, can you
Come over here.
read this way or this way?
Wherever.
Well, yeah, are you gonna show us anything
In the
there?
middle. In the middle.
In the middle.
I'm not sure actually.
Sorry.
All right, so this is the Riverbend subdivision that we've been developing in for a few years. When it was originally platted, it was platted under the cluster subdivision ordinance that no longer is in use. And what we would like to do is come back and replat some of that area and do some more of the products that we're doing out at TDC Ranch, a mix of some patio homes for people who need single level living, and then also a good number of the starter homes that we're doing out at TDC Ranch. We would be happy to do a similar thing with preference for first responders, first time homebuyers. You know, try to provide something single family detached and affordable for people starting out in homeownership in this area. So what you're looking at there, let's see, let me kind of switch sides on those, because there's actually two different ones.
Oh.
So let me just swap sides with Tammy here.
There you go. That'll make no sense.
You want
Yep.
Tammy, you're gonna need those glasses. I know yours. Tell me. So what Tammy's showing up on this page here, for Charlie, you can see that that is phases 1 and 2 of Riverbend coming in off of 3600 there. This way is north up here, so this would just be sitting next to it. This is one. This is one, that is, yeah. Yeah, so we would still have a lot of open space. All of this green here is that riverfront open space that we would still like to work with the Parks District. To be part of that Emerald Necklace plan there for the parks along the river. Yeah, so north is Missouri.
Oh.
Yeah. So in that parcel that Charlie's got highlighted up here, that's that notch that you can see right here on the plan up at the top of that
So
parcel that's highlighted.
what you're talking about is everything that's in the darker or
Yeah.
gold color.
Yeah, so actually it's the tan and the gold. So the tan would be the patio home lot, that would be that single level living. And then the gold would be for the starter. We like to do a mix of both kinds of products in there. And then you can see the existing phase 2 lot right here on the left side. So as we've worked with Tanya, Charlie, and Rick, Charlie, maybe I should let you speak to this, but we figured out that it may not even need a rezone, it may just need an additional base. Of the subdivision.
So I think we don't need to amend the general plan for it, but I do think it.
Okay, perfect. All right, yeah, that's correct. We need a rezone, not a general plan. So yeah, just wanted to get some feedback on it. It would be all single family, detached homes. And we would like to just provide some variety. These are beautiful homes we're building in this community. They're all beautiful homes that are not entry level. To the housing market, we'd like to bring that in. They also have a lot of stairs, and we would like to bring in another product with this light tan lots that are more for people who are over doing stairs past that stage of life.
I have a question for you. So the gold ones are the starter homes, but
Yes.
you talked about, so there would be like a first right refusal, but would there also be a, the price point?
Yeah, we're happy to talk about doing them again, something similar on those, and we're happy to do like a home owner occupancy.
Something like that.
Again, like we did at JVC.
I'm just trying, so we've still got open space and quite, I mean,
Yeah.
it's not, so the total property is 35 acres, and does that include what you've already built over here as well?
No, the 35 would just be this phase of homes and then this open space. So the 35 would be everything that you see.
Oh, all of that.
On this map.
And when we did phase 1, this maybe for you, maybe for staff. Was this whole area the open space?
Yes.
How much total open space was it?
Good, great question. Do you guys remember?
Well, it looks like it's 35.
So if you look at this one right here,
Mhm.
do you see the red line coming
Okay.
through? So the red line marks everything east of the red line was part of the open space, everything west of it was not. So it's not the whole 35 acres. Part of it we held out of finishing off in the larger homes because we wanted to come back and do some variety there.
So really, what you're looking for is additional buildable area is just this little spot right here. This is already,
This part
what
right
was
here,
granted
this was already done.
at a different density, but we're looking at a different product.
Uh-huh.
And if we have, I mean, what we would be getting is maybe some more affordable options, I guess, or is the
On the part that's,
exchange?
yeah, the part that's already entitled, and again, this is conceptual, we haven't done engineering on it yet, but it would be maybe 10 to 12 additional lots in this area, and they would all be the starter homes being added in. And so the new entitlement would be over on the east side.
This green area out around that's left here, what's the intention of that? Because
So that's part of this larger green area up here. This is about 19 and a half acres. That we would, we've had some conversation with the Parks District about giving it to them as part of that River Parkway system.
Well, what's kind of difficult about these is to weigh, the pro and con list,
Mhm.
and I know that, when this subdivision first came to us, 4 or 5 years ago, however long ago it's been a while now.
Yeah.
But it wasn't too far away from when we were gonna have a new general plan. And so granted, this fits within the general plan, but and none of this really matters, but it does. Because it was mentioned at that time, just wait a little bit longer. you won't have to give up the open space. And then that way, this is all done in, at one action through the process, right?
Okay.
Well, that didn't happen because the person at that time that was moving the property through the process was not wanting to wait. He wanted to get it moved along. Okay, that's understandable. There's a lot of investment that's been made. But at the same time, I have some of my counterparts here who look at this and say, this was promised in one way. Right? And feel free.
Lacey Richard.
Lacey, you know, I don't see anything in here that you've done that's probably not more marketable than what we have.
No,
But
I think it's probably about the same.
I like it, but my concept is I could never vote for it unless you had the people in that area support it.
Okay.
And the reason I can't support it is because developers come out and made a commitment to these people, like, you're gonna have this nice open area down there. And I'm sure there's a lot of people in it that balk because of that. And I don't disagree with what you've got here. I think it's very marketable and very good, but
I'd
I'm
be
out.
happy to go have some conversations with our homeowners.
If you bring them in and there's no nice,
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I'm happy to go have some conversations with them, that's a good idea.
Well, that's that pro and con list that we talked about, you know, it's like,
But I'm only one vote.
it's, these things are, you know, kind of difficult. Some of them are easier than others. This one is one that's probably more difficult because of the way that it was originally set up. Now, that's not to say I feel the same way as Commissioner, that this is great and it's, so the pro is that it's positive for what needs to be done for attainability and affordability. But at the same time, what's the commitment that was made previously? So it makes it a hard thing to go through the process on, knowing how it was originally approved.
Yeah. For sure, and
So-
so helpful, this is how it was originally approved. So this is that section right here that you're kind of seeing west of the red line. And, you know, we could just go build more of all the same big houses on.
So you're not asking to, take in the common area that you left open?
No, we are, so this, if you look at this right here, this red line running through, we already have approval up to the red line
Oh, here.
on that, but it's for those same bigger, more costly houses that we're selling. And, you know, we can keep building those.
Unattainable.
Well, yeah, honestly, and you know, it's something that's really important to the owner of our company, Judd Nilson, to be part of the solution on homeownership attainability in the state. So he asked us to do a, you know, what could we do to.
Well, there's a problem. Yeah. You got the wrong niche.
So, is it all right if I give just my
Sure.
opinion on it? So, I really like this, and after driving through Western Weaver County with Cami here, there are a lot of unattainable homes, just big homes out there. And so I think this product would be really advantageous to that community and blend, especially the patio home concept. I know there's a big need for that. And I like the idea. We've got bigger homes, slightly smaller, but not minuscule, and we're blending. The trade-off for me that would make it okay to develop a little bit more of that open space is if we hold them to a price point, the home ownership, like put those restrictions on, so they're, that's where their give is, where we're giving extra land, they're giving a little bit more of that affordable aspect. And I like the idea that we've seen the product as well, so we know what to expect of these. So I think it could be there still is a lot of open space, for everyone in this community. They have all of this open space very close to them, and where the river's right there, there's always going to be, and if it's given to the Parks District, if it's actually given to the Parks District as part of the transaction, then there is more of a guarantee that would stay open. I don't see a purpose in this staying open space, quite honestly, I think that would be a burden to whoever owned it, so overall, it would be expensive for the homeowners to own it in an HOA.
That's, yeah,
So those are just thoughts and ideas, so I'm not opposed to it, and I think as long as we have the attainable layers in the development agreement, I think that could be a fair trade. On JDC Ranch, did they do the Parks District donation? No, we traded that for the attainability, right?
They had created their own parks and open space through their HOA, and then, yeah, attainability was the other part of it.
And so I'm okay with attainability being the trade personally, that's kind of how I see it, but just one more opinion.
Well, is this why you're here, Lance? Parks?
I can't hear good.
Are you here because of this, Lance?
Yeah,
Oh, you just want to sit.
Because of the parks, that's what
no,
I.
this is the peanut gallery.
So,
so you're,
you're still gonna have a park for people, that might be a good way for you to approach this. Because it's probably better than what they'd ever get,
yeah,
but unless you have the people, I still can't morally.
Sure, yeah, and I'm happy to go have those conversations with them, and I'll just be totally frank with you, like. It would be great to do starter homes in all of our communities. You can't make it pencil unless there's something special like. Extra lots like we got at JDC or here property that you've already purchased that's been built into the pro forma for the whole neighborhood. And so we don't have to go out and buy the land to do starter homes. We've still got to do all the horizontal development, and put that lot improvement cost in, but we don't have to go purchase new land to do starter homes on, and that's why it can work here.
well, a con to this is open space. And going back to where I started with my conversation about. If we could have got to the new, and I say this about just about every one of them, you can ask staff and the rest of the planning commission. If some of these developers would have just waited a few months. The open space was never a good concept for density, because it's just not practical to leave open and say that it's ag space, because it's not ag space.
Yeah.
It's too small for ag space and it's too big for anything else.
Yep.
Except for maybe a park. But the park district doesn't want all of that as park, because they don't have the means to take care of all of that either.
Well, hold on.
Okay,
We've looked at this with Lacey, here, I'll come back on Lacey.
Sorry.
We still look at that.
Yeah.
What? You know me, I don't come here to play poker with you, and I'm sitting here, do I play all my
That's,
cards? I'm gonna play all my cards right here on this, what I've been kicking around with the board. We haven't had a formal sit down, yes, this is what we're gonna do. But we have had a couple of good discussions about this, and one of the things that I've toyed around with this is. We can have a lot of this is in floodplain, okay? And we could have a nice little parking lot up here and a nice playground. But the thing that's really kicking in my mind, and I don't know if I've sold the board on it yet, okay, so here's my cards. Have a campground down there, and not just the walkway, but a campground. And I was doing some research, and there was a Shoshone chief named Little Soldier. And he would camp his tribe down here on that loop. And I thought, camp Chief Little Soldier, get the Shoshones involved and come down and have a big, and we can have a little, some 4 or 5 little spots of camping like they have down.
You've been listening to Blanche,
What's that?
you've been listening to Blanche too much.
Oh, no, no.
Yeah,
I've never spoken to that young man at all, so it's just something I've been kicking around, we could have a nice little campground down here as well as a nice little playground. It is down here, right here in a beautiful spot.
it is.
And we could make something really nice down there, maybe 4 or 5 spots would be good park,
I like rather than one in West Haven.
I don't know.
Yeah, West Haven's done a really strong.
But
Well, you have scout outings and everything, there's some more fuel for you, but.
And what the heck, we could even, depending on the future, we could even have a tent down there and you could come slip down the tent and rent the tent, I mean, a teepee, So we got some stupid wild ideas down there and it's spaghetti I'm throwing on the wall, see what sticks. There's my cards and that's kind of what is bouncing around my mind. It's 20 acres roughly, isn't it? And we just haven't worked out all the details, but we would love to be able to have something like this. We need some parks over here. I really wish this was up where Benton Herrick was, so we can have more centralized. But then again, it's down on the river, it's gonna be beautiful. And I think we got the moxie to be able to take care of things. Mr. Rivera, I think we could go,
Well, I don't know how much you
have faith in us.
I got all the faith in the world. I just don't know where you're at as far as what you want and what you don't want. Charlie,
Okay.
is there a trail that goes down in? Proposed trail that comes down here that goes over into that bit and stuff, because I know that we have a trail plan for that, for along the river, but also going west from the river, right?
So, they're showing a trail going west through the development.
Okay,
It connects to 725 South Street. And if you were to follow that line straight across, that would tie into one of the roads that's in Benton Herrick that has a pathway that is adjacent to it. So that would be partially road adjacent, partially non-road adjacent pathway from 4,300 all the way over to the river.
and it gets you down past behind the elementary school. Eventually along the canal.
Yeah, so from Benton Herrick, the developer is responsible for improving the trail along 4,300 to the south to 900. And then from 3,600 west to the school, the county was awarded funding from the Wasatch Front Regional Council to build that.
It'll be along the road though, right?
Yeah, that will be along the road. So we'll have a few ways to get from the elementary school to the river, in time.
Okay. So. We had something else here.
So Lacey, was it all going to the Parks District before? You guys were keeping it, not all of it, yeah. And
It's
so,
just been sitting there.
right, but then, so it wasn't going to the parks, what did it show to the residents that was going to be there?
I don't know, Mike, I was not
The
sure
ri-
this was done 5 years ago.
So my name is Mike Flood with Nilson. Originally, some of it, like right along the bank, the emerald necklace, so to speak, was, but this was all intended to be open space.
Farmers.
Would have been just, I think the intent would be doing some, is it called agribusiness, agritourism, but that never. The idea was thrown out there by the prior applicant, Belknap, and we bought from him as it was entitled. And there just wasn't a lot of detail that went with that, so.
So you never gave you never gave to the residents of the thing, like, hey, this is gonna be
No.
open space with a park, or there was never any promise to
No.
that. Okay.
It's been up in the air.
There wasn't other than it would be open space.
Oh,
It was intended to be
supposed to be farm.
for ag use.
Ag use.
Yeah.
You're right.
Under the old cluster subdivision, the individually owned open space parcel was for agriculture.
Okay,
It was
Still
gonna be a
use-
little under
use.
5 acres of open space.
but this part that they're wanting to do right here is 35, and then this is separate?
Now, what they're wanting to do is closer to, well,
35.
This part that they're wanting to do is just like 8 acres or something,
So
right?
it's even less than that.
It's less than that?
It would be that
it's-
entire parcel.
This is
Oh,
15 and a half, it's the part that's got houses on it and the other part's 19.
Okay,
So if you take everything that's colored in green and orange and tan here, that's 35.
that's 35, but the part that you're wanting to develop that wasn't going to be developed was
Right.
approximately how much?
7 or 8 acres, probably.
Probably,
Yeah.
okay, so
About
not,
right.
not huge though.
Right.
I don't know if it was Jed or Andrew that made the point, but it's a small enough area. You're both from farming families, you're farming. It's not a very easily, it's not probably it's easily farmable. We can get water to it, but it's a small piece. I mean, it can be farmed, but it's not for any real,
Really agree, probably.
use. I mean, it can be farmed.
I agree.
The olive orchard next door is a much bigger one, but it's just got a lot more space and area, and try and turn a big machine in here, and you might turn it once, and
That's not my challenge, really.
Yeah.
It's just the representation.
yeah.
And it's not only reflects on the developer, which was the but it reflects back to what the county's gonna do too, right?
But
I just don't see how you can go out and promise the world to people
I
and
mean,
then change it unless they agree.
But none of the homes are even built that are right next to that open space.
no, that's the reason we held out that half of that last.
So-
phase. So no one would be right.
They're still within the same development,
They are still.
Yeah.
still bought in a development knowing what it was supposed to.
Yeah, they bought it intended maybe they could wander around down the river. And then there's another.
Well, it would be
piece.
privately held open space. It was never actually going to be
I-
available to
I
them
agree.
as residents. So I personally don't
There's
have
still
much of
space
it.
between you and the
With
next.
That's right.
Well, there was another one, I thought up on the corner, like,
It was private space, and I don't remember if it was gonna be held by, do you have an HOA in this?
No, it wasn't.
It was just privately held by.
It's supposed to be held privately, so it wasn't even, it wasn't promised to the residents in my.
that's how they got their digs.
Right. It-
Yes,
when we were going through
Well, we
that
did
process,
talk about that, and that's why it's there.
yes, but now we're getting something better, in my opinion,
I don't
than empty
disagree.
space. So that's,
I like
That's
the
the
empty
trade.
space.
So if you
I
don't
might
have that
be the
open
only
space,
one
you're
who's
still
done.
gonna be an HOA? So we already have one, it's mostly just to take care of the trail, we have to plow the trail in the winter. Okay. So it's,
so it's not an HOA of much substance.
no, it takes care of that little trail corridor by the canal. And I really appreciate you, watching out for those residents. It's interesting. We actually had a focus group with some of them last week about what kind of amenities they want to see in
That's
their
good.
community. And they wanted trails and playgrounds.
Seeing that, this might be right up the alley.
Yeah, but I'm happy to go have some more
Lance can
conversations.
tell them about teepees. I don't disagree with that concept, might be kind of fun.
It's just one of my wild ideas.
So, do you,
Leave it to a Peters.
do you have you attained water, for what you'll need in order to?
We've
go
got some
forward?
shares. We can't even get a for sure number from the water district until we have a
They've
plat
got
to
that.
show them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you've got a number of potentials.
yeah.
Thing.
Yeah.
Alright.
Lacey, what kind of park improvements are you thinking, or is it just the land donation?
I want to work with Lance on that, see what made sense for them and for us.
Okay.
We had some conversation about putting kind of like trailhead parking down here, and it'll depend on, what they do. If it doesn't go anywhere, it doesn't make sense to put a lot of parking down there.
Yeah.
But if it's the beginning of, a good place to hop on that river trail and it goes somewhere and gets up into that, whatever that subdivision is up north there, Longland.
Yeah, Longman View.
Yeah, so if there's a reason to park here and get on a trail, then yeah, it makes sense to have a trailhead facility here, but that's something that we've had a couple meetings with Lance, but we haven't solidified anything because we wanted to come talk to you and see if it was even feasible.
The connection of that would be great.
Yeah, it would be. Would you be putting in a playground as well?
I think we could look at doing
Yeah, I think we would,
it
so.
all that way.
Yeah, maybe even a pavilion, where, some picnic pavilions. where-
That would probably give you a lot of miles worth of people in there.
Well, I think if they're gonna come there, oh, sorry.
I think that's better use of the property. I mean, like if I'm thinking of West Haven type of cemetery, yeah, they have campground, but I've been in there when they've had somebody actually camping in there. But I like the fact that when the campgrounds are empty and you can just run, people are walking through there and their dogs are with them and you can go next to the river and see wildlife and do all that and get away. And then 3 minutes out of it, you're back in a neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like, and that doesn't take much to maintain that, so. I think that's better than putting a park that's just a big empty building, if it goes that way. I still agree with Jed on getting buy-in from the residents, but. I think if I was a resident living in there and I had to get, and this is just my personal opinion, I had to allow a few more neighbors so that I had access to that river, for me, that would be golden, because I love going on that river. And luckily, I'm fortunate enough to be able to do that,
Yeah.
but not everybody is, so if they had that opportunity just to gain some more neighbors, I think that's a small price to pay
Currently,
personally.
they gotta go up to the school to find a playground and this would be a nice pocket, not park, a nice neighborhood park where, again, playground and maybe a place to picnic and just kind of relax with your children.
So all that being said, being positive, I don't think it's gonna be hard for you to sell it to those neighbors,
I'm
to
happy
meet
with
the
that.
requirement that Jed and I and the rest of us are kind of saying, I think that'll be an easy
When
sell.
we had that focus group last week, we weren't asking specifically in regards to, coming to you tonight. We were asking just broadly, like, what do you want to see in your communities? And we had people there from 2 subdivisions. And they were from JDC in this one, and the JDC ones just gushed over, oh my gosh, it's so awesome, our kids can ride their scooters to the park, we love it, it's so much fun, and the ones in this neighborhood said, every time we wanna do something, we have to load the kids and the bikes and the scooters and the stroller up in the car and go drive to one of the schools or something, so we think it would be great.
Especially selling them that they, hey, you will now get access, yeah, it's open
Yeah.
space right now that you get to look at from a really far
Right,
ways away, so you would have access to that now.
yeah, well, that river park would.
And these people are paying for it, not you.
Yeah.
Right, like the new people are paying for it.
Lacey, really quick, so would you be putting in that river trail just along the river?
We hadn't planned to put in the trail there, but we had talked with Lance about doing the trailhead facility and the playground here.
Oh, okay.
And
How, is it a way, where is the trail on either side?
I can show you.
Right now, it's not on the east side,
But does it connect on one side?
there's nothing on the east side.
On
no.
the east side.
It's just-
Oh, in general.
Yeah, where will it go? So the trail will be ending right about here. I don't know if you can see that. In Loman View.
Uh-huh.
And this project, if they put the trail in, would end right about here. This is an ideal like location for a trailhead because Loman View will be putting a trailhead in right here as well. And it's about a mile. So you got a mile here, mile there. But you have all that land in there that until the landowners are willing to do something, we won't have a trail there.
And we'll have other development that can contribute to the actual trail when it's time to put the trail in. So maybe the trailhead in a park is the first step and then we gather the parks donations that go into further improvements as that goes along.
Yeah, normally my preference would be the trail comes in up front, but if we're getting enough open space and
The park.
improvements, then, you know, we can work with plans on some of those. I mean, Benton Hair, they've got 7,500 per front door that's gotta go invest in something. But also, it's kind of off in the corner and we don't have a development in that, we don't have development right adjacent, right? Where up in Loman View, because there's gonna be houses right on the back of it, right? And so that trail will make sense even though it'll only technically go a mile. This one might not make as much sense because it's a little bit further out until other landowners choose to develop their plans.
Wait to do the actual trail.
This is a nice give. And I call it a give because it's all in zone, right? So my question is, and what I wanna know, Lance, maybe this is more in your direction, is what's the value of that park property in place of the donation? And you may, and I don't expect you to have that answer right now, but it's something that between now and the next conversation we have about this, that we know an answer to. Because this is a significant give here. This is taking land that's already been zoned. And it's bringing it back into play for a very reasonable price, no matter how we slice and dice this. So I would like to know what that value is to the parks district for another time, not tonight.
That's one of the first things I do is I put this.
Yeah,
And, yeah, we can have more Lacey and Mr. Pleasure and we'll.
good.
And that'd be,
We'll do
that'd be great, and as you do that, I'd just like you to keep in mind that some of that land value is what we're hoping to give to those first and home buyers by keeping the price artificially low on the homes.
Got it. And then I do have another question because, you know, as we're all aware, this area is in a real state of transitional state.
Yeah.
Is the word I want to use. We still have ag, we have density, and we're asking for even more density on this particular portion. So, you know, we kind of have to be fair in our decision process here is how this affects everybody. So one thing I would want to make sure that you do is that you meet with anybody that has infrastructure that feeds from this property and make sure that they're getting taken care of. That whatever is necessary that comes through this property, that potentially comes through this property for the neighbor next door.
Yeah.
And so on, that infrastructure is going to get taken care of.
Yeah.
And those conversations are going to, you know, happen, and that's a big deal for me.
Something to add to that, if you notice, this plan we're providing here has several, at least 2, maybe 3 connections to adjacent properties, knowing that as this area's transitioning, eventually that connection, which means that's gonna have water and sewer to that property line, allows connections for
Sure.
those communities to tie on so that they're not burdened by having to bring in a lot of additional offsite
When they eventually get there.
when they get there.
But that's the key. In the meantime, we have people that, you know, they're wanting to keep their lifestyle.
Which is great.
And yeah, and that adds to the ambiance, if you will, of the area because it's open. And so we've got to be accommodating to them and be considerate.
Here I was, I'm glad connectivity came up, because I was just looking at this thinking, it would be nice to have the roads that run east-west stub to the east. I know the landowners to the east, are not interested in developing anytime soon. But at some point in the future, if they do choose to, it'd be nice to have those roads stub, eastward. And I think we need one more south.
So each one, these are right up to the fence line now, aren't they, Charlie? You're talking about the gold color, the roads that go between
We're
them.
talking about this right here,
Yeah.
right? This right here,
What you're
This right
looking, you're talking
here,
about
and this right
the bigger, okay.
making sure those are all.
Going this way.
So-
That- Yeah.
No,
That's what comes
That
through
hurts,
instead of
yeah,
the
it's
lane.
Yeah, so a couple of the lanes, the smaller ones that you see, those are shared driveways. So a couple of the shared driveways would turn into street connections. But other than that, I think connectivity looks really good. It's a good way to retrofit what we had. I think if we had our druthers, we probably see at least one more trail in here. However, the original phases, 1, 2, 3, only has the single trail. So, we'll work with that. And then each of these, driveways could potentially double, as trail access if it's open for trail use. So I like that idea.
Commissioners, anything else, or Lacey, do you have anything?
No,
else
I
you
just
want
really
to say?
appreciate the feedback, that's helpful. Thank you.
Okay,
Lacey, I'm usually on the other
oh,
side,
sorry, Jed.
so. Right, it's the people that were put in there, it's not your fault. They might have been promised that open space and
Yeah.
no more neighbors, and that's my only hang up. I think the concept's pretty good. One thing you might wanna do is on that park, is put an easement through there, so that it goes to outwards also. And that would open him up someday if and when the park went.
Which one?
Well,
Going north.
yeah. Over here.
Okay, yeah, no, I appreciate that, and the nice thing is, these are our homeowners in this neighborhood, so, you know, we know them, we talk to them a lot anyway, and so I
Good deal.
don't wanna make them mad.
And go talk to people that have been there longer than a couple of
Yeah.
years too.
Yeah, for sure.
Cause that can sort of be, you know, they're stakeholders in this process too.
Yeah, we're happy to do that, make sure that we're accommodating, not interfering now, but providing options. Sure. Yeah,
Well,
thank you.
Thank you.
Not for.
Have a great weekend.
Thanks for putting up with this lady.
Sure does.
It's all right, it's a bigger packet. So, that's kind of like I thought.
Thanks, Tim.
Sorry. I'm more confused.
There's one more thing I wanted to address, I totally forgot to bring up on the Riverbend. I think it would be beneficial as we're looking at rezoning, to look at the entire subdivision.
And
Not just the piece that they're targeting.
The
Just
one up on 3500.
Mhm.
Well,
Phase 1, 2, and 3.
and
Or 36.
put the map back up for a second.
It's
This
right
thought-
around the corner.
I don't want anybody to leave here upset, but while we're in the process of all of this, this is what we're talking about to the east, right? And property owners over here that are at this point. maybe in the future, maybe not. But if we're gonna do an area, do we take this into consideration as well?
We could, if we don't have a concept plan or a master plan, the connectivity and pathways and all those.
And if we have to have all of that, then no. And the only reason I'm saying that is not to push anybody toward anything. It's just that if it makes sense and the landowners are wanting to maybe
Receptive to it.
be receptive to it.
I think they have to ask to join, no, we don't want to force it.
No, I don't want to force anything. I'm not at all, not at all.
Maybe less costly, right?
Yeah. Oh, and that was my thought on just making sure we've got the stubs that go east so that if they
Right.
choose to develop.
And I was just kind of building on that, you know, it's like, but.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a surprise to any developer, they know if they're the first one in, they're the first one to bring her. So,
So Charlie, you're talking about pieces up above also of what's good. I believe, weren't you?
Yeah, well, I'm talking about the original, so this is all in the A1 zone. Right, and so as we change this piece here to the to AR zone, I'm not quite sure which one we're gonna go with yet. Because some of the lot sizes are rather small, and so we may want to go with like the R10 or even the R5 potentially, just depending on density and how all that fleshes out. But where this was cluster subdivision with granted bonus density, the smaller lot sizes don't work in the A1 zone. Or maybe, let me rephrase that. The A1 zone doesn't work for the smaller lot sizes. And so changing them over to, like we did with Taylor Landing and with Winston Park.
And
Was it this piece here though, open?
Yeah, so these two pieces are part of their open space plan right now as well. I believe there's an application in to subdivide this one here, right?
Not, because we actually added some additional open space up at the north that connected with the main piece, so we're just doing a swap across, is what we're proposing on that.
So we'll probably look.
So
at
they
this
see
piece
you
in.
put some more on the
We put some more on the
river.
Yeah, we did a swap with the house and got their property on the west side of the river, because they wanted our property on
That
the
probably
west side of the
just
river.
the valve board, it's kind of that little hook front, you can see it on that map, the green part. It's kind of a little hook up there.
I don't know, you have to look at Charlie, I can show everybody.
Zoom out, yeah.
Where the river used to be, but isn't it?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
get it.
It's on the upper irrigation now,
Okay,
and they're putting the reservoir there.
okay, perfect. Over here.
So come out just a little bit more,
Where's that?
Charlie,
One
if you would.
Yeah, grass is there. She's got to go.
All right, so, man, I'm too short. Okay, so we used
Get a
to own
pointer.
this property right here. And the house owned that one right there. But they're on opposite sides of the river, so they couldn't get to their piece across the river. We couldn't get to ours. And so they came to us about a year ago and said, hey, could we work out, buying this from you, or do you want to buy this from us? And we said, you know what, we don't need to make you pay for it. Let's just trade across so everyone's on the right side of the river. So we actually are bringing this additional piece into the subdivision as additional open space. Cause doesn't do Lance any good on the other side, it certainly doesn't do us. We added that open space so it connects with what's already there.
Probably another 100 feet of trail space along that.
So we'll probably want you to amend the application to include the piece on the corner as well.
As a rezone.
As a rezone, so that we can get you the right zone for that.
so is that piece isn't shown on this?
It is in that green area.
It's just a little north.
It is showing on the green one.
Sorry.
It is this.
It's that little hook thing up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That way we kept going up along the river.
Perfect. And this was cluster, right? So the county probably owns a conservation open space easement that we'll need to vacate as we do this. It's what we did with Winston Park. And we didn't have to with Taylor Landing because they hadn't put the portion that they're gonna develop on into a conservation easement yet. So the cluster subdivision code requires the open space to have a conservation easement in favor of the county. So it's just on the dedication plan, so we'll just need to.
That has to go through a process to.
We'll just, with the rezone ordinance, we'll have it just be part of the rezone ordinance, to vacate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for pointing that out.
Okay, no worries. I just didn't want you guys, when we come back, it's gonna be a bigger area and I didn't want you guys to be too surprised.
They didn't call it cluster for nothing.
Yeah, we
You're not
did that to ourselves.
Yeah, you did.
Okay, thanks.
This, just one more comment. This was the subdivision where the famous comment was made, I can't sell a house without a lawn
Yeah.
around it.
Yep. Yep.
Who said that?
Ed Graham.
I don't remember.
Like.
Yeah, I don't think you were.
Yeah,
I was right.
It's a famous philosopher.
all right,
Ed Graham.
those t-shirts and everything. Hey, good to know. Good to know. All right, you ready for the next one?
Let's go. Yep.
All right, the next one is, we are working with the McFarland family on their property out by the river where it bends around and is out west of 5100. So we have submitted a zoning map amendment request for a master planned community on their property out there. It's about 283 acres. There, and yeah, Charlie's got, we pulled up there, that's the first page of the county here, shows the outline in blue. And we would like to rezone that with the goal of doing a really walkable kind of agricultural heritage focused master plan community out here. So we've got some concept plans in here to show you on that one. What we're looking to do is kind of bringing the residential portions together, but having open space, some of those sloughs out there, and then those waterways kind of run throughout the community, have parks and trails follow that. And then doing down along the proposed freeway extension, preserving some property down in that bottom portion. Sorry, do you guys want to see? Yeah, doing down in that bottom portion, doing what has been referred to as an agri-head, where it's some small agricultural parcels where you can have like a farm stand and things off. It's kind of like the one like Hadley's live by me, and I can stop by their house after work and pick up some tomatoes and cucumbers and go home and make a salad. It's not a farmer's, it's not a grocery store. It's not you're not going there to do your full grocery list. But it's more of that kind of neighborhood agriculture. That's it. So
Is
this
this the
shows,
corn McFarland's?
it is.
Mhm.
Same people, but I don't think corn grows out there.
Not much.
It's more solid.
Mosquito.
Yeah.
You don't do really well up there. Yes, they do. Yeah, so this shows one of the things that the application asked for was some connection points. We're working with those surrounding owners out there. The Georgians are out here, kind of to the north side. McFarland's own more property north of here, but this is the only portion that they're interested in changing the use of right now.
This is a dumb question, because I know it's not for everybody. Are these phases, all these brown spots? That's not a lot, right?
No, that's just,
It's not a huge lot.
yeah,
Pull a bubble map.
So, I mean,
Lottie with those-
separated by your,
Okay.
it's just separated by this street.
But not necessarily a phase either, it's just,
No.
okay, cool.
No.
Sometimes, most of the time, I encourage developers to not show the lot boundaries, because I don't want us to get bogged down in where the lots are laid out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're always gonna be wrong. We don't have a survey level.
I can guarantee you. What we're looking for as far as density out here would come out to 3.5, 4 units per acre. So it's about 3.5, 4 units per acre. So it wouldn't be a lot of density. It would just be pulled together to make sure that there was some really good open through the community. And then we took this back to, we're working with a master planned community designer out of Pittsburgh. He does a lot of these projects. They do a lot of work for neighborhoods here in Utah. So they worked on doing some visioning for it. And so these kind of paintings represent the vision for the community, keeping it really a farmhouse style as far as agriculture goes, and having it be really kind of outdoor amenity focused
and outdoor living focused as far as a lot of trail networks. We are in talks with an organization that may have a desire to have a charter school site out there, so that's one thing we're looking at. So that's why you see a school site on there. It's not because for sure there's going to be a school there, but because we're willing to have that conversation with them. There's also some guys and someone a lot more talented than I am, painting by the river, things like that. And as we get to the back of the packet, it shows some of the different product types that we're thinking about for this community. We'd like to have a wide variety. Just, I mean, everyone's got a preference. It's funny, people ask me, they're like, my kids when they were little asked me, why do we live in a retirement community? It's because one side of our street is a 55 and older community, and then there's our side of the street, you know, where there were a lot more young families, and it was just our one side of the street was the little leg coming out of the main neighborhood, so they always felt a little cheated. But our goal with this community would be to have everything from some like duplex or townhomes all the way up to 55 plus single level living, so that you don't end up with a neighborhood of just one stage of life, one demographic, but a real community where you've got first time home buyers, families just starting out, all the way through people who are retiring and wanting to downsize. So this shows some of the. We're talking about the fact that my kid had to shovel snow for half the neighborhood. Yes, I did. Yeah, he always thought we should have mixed a little better in our neighborhood.
You know, all the character here.
Lots of things, yeah. So this just shows, you know, some of the different, we're trying to keep the block rates really consistent. So that if we got out there and one of the homes wasn't as, like one of the types of housing wasn't as popular as wanted as we thought, we could just swap it for something else. If all of a sudden there's, you know, more people in this household size who want a home than this one, you can just kind of swap them back and forth. These are some of the houses we're building at JDC Ranch right now in the Creekside phases. So we put them in here not because it would be the exact house, but just as an example of the kind of architectural style and the kinds of houses that we built. And then I'm just open for questions, comments, feedback, all that great stuff.
Yeah, good, Tammy. Well, I think my biggest concern is 2,200. Because we're, right, what else are you going in and out?
They'll have to build another way.
We'll have to build a lot of roads. Yeah.
So like, where's the plan? Like, where will you build another road out? Like, what's your idea? Because I guess what I'm asking.
Oh, so if you look at this one with the arrows, those are the different points where you could get out and connect to an existing road. Okay. It's gonna have to go through adjacent property owners' parcels. And we're talking with them about options on that, but yeah, you're absolutely right. You and I have the same reaction when I saw it for the first time. I'm like, that's fun. Where does it?
Well, I
connect?
mean, I live out there, so I
Yeah.
know how wide 2,200 is, so I'm like, well, that's not really good work.
And
Now, you know, 2,200 needs to be widened. A lot, and not just at the end, it has to be widened until it connects to something wide enough as well.
Probably 51, yeah.
And just making sure that's part of the expectation.
Yeah, and you know, it's interesting because it feels like it's kind of out, like way in the way out, but then you can see right here where this is gonna be the freeway. So it's not gonna be the way out for very long. So, yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of connections right now, but they're going to be. This is the proposed freeway route right here and then river coming down. So.
And 2,200 will be
Sorry.
35.
Is that the same corridor?
It's on our general
So-
plan.
That's where.
2,500. I like a lot of, I like the home types. You show the only one I'd be concerned about is just anywhere we're seeing a row of garage garage doors, that's a private street, not one of the public,
Not a
or,
public one.
yeah, and I think the row house, the duplex is the only one I see that's designed to be just garage doors.
Yeah, we're planning.
But the rest of them look like they're not, and so, and like this one looks like that is supposed to be private. It intended to be private, and then the public street's right here, and then there's access to the front, or like through like a common area.
Yeah, we have, this was the only picture I intended to bring, but we do have we have front load and we have.
And yeah, so just if the front loader kind of limited to those bigger frontages.
We're
Yeah, so-
a ways away from subdivision level,
Oh, yeah,
so
Yeah.
how far are we away from reality here in this project? Because you have a lot of infrastructure work to do there.
do have a lot of infrastructure work to do. Mike, what would you say? You're the one who does infrastructure work.
My crystal ball, no, that's a very good question. We're probably at least a year. I mean, it just depends on the conversations that are being had out there with the variety, and we're not, we've got a member of our team that's meeting with different individuals. We've got, the McFarlands themselves that are talking with their neighbors and talking with, there's just a lot of moving parts. But we feel like a general plan amendment is our first step, and then this is a big step because we're trying to show concept and then start showing the different traffic accesses. Then we can go to neighbors and say, this is what we're thinking. What do you think? How do you feel? And it's not all gonna be positive. We understand that. And we're gonna try and work with all out there to make it so that it is workable for everybody.
I mean, my crystal ball is not as good as Mike's, but I think if we were building houses out here in 3 years,
Yeah.
that would be.
I'm thinking more from the development side, probably a year, just get it and start developing on it. And,
That, just for those who don't know, that would mean like starting to put in utilities, starting to build roads, and
Yeah.
houses would be there's out of this.
and that can all be moved up or down based on just progress, right?
Charlie, how far away are we from really knowing when we're going to start on the general plan?
We're starting now, yeah, so, my guess is we'll probably start having work sessions with the planning commission in June. But Tammy and I were working on putting the framework together for this process. It won't be as robust as the last process was, but, we'll certainly have at least one open house.
And I did put a plug in today with the commissioner to do the whole thing.
Okay.
I realize the burden of that, but maybe that was really bringing some
I'm not,
much needed information in and maybe some resources to help with the process.
what Andrew's talking about is, there's baby plan and there's big plan, and baby plan is just east of the river and spot checking. The big plan is doing a full transportation analysis of the entire western Weaver corridor area, not just the freeway, but I mean, all of those roads. And then an economic analysis, those two things at least, to inform us on whether or not we should be looking at more residential, less residential, more commercial, less commercial. So we're not over zoning things that can't happen, much like the conversation we had last week. But then also that we've got an appropriate plan in place for transportation improvements as the growth happens, because it's gonna be hopscotch. And we wanna make sure we got a plan for the hopscotch.
And that's my push to do a deeper dive.
Something comprehensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we could do it in phases even, so the county commissioners told us, spot check on the east side of the river. And then next year we'll look at the bigger, item, the transportation and the economics. We're gonna need to hire someone to do that for us. And I think that's the thing that kind of scared them a little bit, because nothing's been allocated this year for it. So I think that's gonna go in for next year's budget. But yeah, the county commissioners want us to phase in, so we're looking at this and we're taking the little bite and then we're going to the bigger bite and we're going to even bigger. That would be phenomenal, I think. Very manageable.
It would hit the mark better.
Also, the future West Weaver corridor, if that doesn't go in by UDOT, it is still required to access, what's the big one called?
Westbridge.
Westbridge. It's still required to access Westbridge. And so if it's not a UDOT highway, it'll be a county highway.
I think it's a great place for it because it gets rid of the concern as far as the buffer for the WFN. We've been measured on my phone and you are more than 200 yards, so.
So, yeah, except for the population is above there.
So we're not gonna have any complaints when it comes to that part. of it.
Lacey, you're still planning to do the affordable housing element on this?
We're a little early to say
Sure.
exactly what the mix would be, but yeah, some of what we're proposing here is intended to do that, like the cottage ones that you're looking at. And then the, pocket one, if you look back at the first page. We even have a new product under development that's a pocket one, where it's more like a cottage court. Where it's, 800 to 1,200 square foot.
And I like the products, I just, if we're gonna do. I'm hesitant to do more than 3 units per acre, because that's what we've done for our other master plan communities.
Yeah.
2.9, and so I don't think I'd approve anything more dense than that unless there was confirmed, like, unless that went towards price. At some sort of a fixed price, so that
No, that
our
makes sense. I was
increased
gonna say,
density isn't.
don't drop it, because
Yeah.
I gotta drop those first, but yeah.
Yeah, I just, like, I'd be open to it, but I would definitely wanna see that we get the affordability aspect in the first priority, so all that stuff is.
Yeah, I'll put that back up.
Put your finger.
What, have you had any conversations with?
It's hard to put your finger. The price will go up.
Is this to you, Lance, just a straight donation, $7,500 per front door? Or what are you looking at parking here? What are you?
We haven't gotten that specific. There are, and this is the first time I've seen the conceptual drawing.
Yeah, it's
But there are parks and waterways down there that we could take on as a park district. We just don't wanna take small little pocket parks. We're happy to take 4 acre little park, 4 to 5.
They're pretty big.
We would
I
want
think
this
this would be
to
more
belong
like,
to the public.
yeah, I think this would be like what you did over on Green's property.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that use that don't live in that, so I think that's.
I mean, I use it, I don't live there,
Good.
so,
Right.
yeah. thanks.
So that's Walker Slough, which if you remember from our master plan, we've got ambitions to have a nice green ribbon along that Walker Slough as well. So it's
Highlighted by the.
So again-
nursery.
What do you have for water resources there? Do you have point of diversion from the river? I'm relatively sure there's no river irrigation chairs down there, so have you gotten that far yet?
No,
Are you talking about the, kind of the water feature that's showing there, or just?
No, I'm just talking about in general, be able to water the parks.
Yeah,
You know, you're
Portland's
gonna have to have
water that
something.
come with the purchase, with the
But-
sale.
As far as like allocating how far it goes and.
Yeah,
We gotta have concept.
Charlie, what kind of open space requirement did we have for Westbrook and Bennett Farms?
So for all of our developments, we're looking at 10 acres per thousand. And I wanted to say that before, I just didn't want to interrupt. From a numbers perspective, and Lance and I have chatted a little bit about this. It's less about if things pencil equitably and more about can 10 acres of actual park area, with a good 50% of that being improved, at least, can that be created per 1,000 people? If it can be done at a cost savings, great. If it can't be done at a cost savings and we gotta do 7,500 per, that's fine.
Okay. And I had one more question, it was about, I would wanna. I think the 2.9 acres, that would be my biggest sticking point is
Feel like
that a lot of extra density to be requesting if we aren't getting something, getting something else.
They've spoken with us a little bit about possibility of transferring from other areas, other communities, maybe West Ridge, maybe other communities in the area. So they're not increasing much more than the 2.9 that we're. Yes,
From where?
from possibly from West Ridge or other developments. So I think there's a way that we could feel comfortable that we're not going higher. Yeah, we're not growing.
Like West Bridge would sell some of their development rights to this one if they don't want to develop quite that many.
Yep.
Okay.
If that's, and nothing's set in stone yet, I think we're good to move forward with the 2.9 units to the acre, on average, and then work out the difference. With
And
other
it-
developers.
I kind of like where you've just offered products that will be more affordable, not having to go through the whole affordability process, because that is cumbersome. But But at that point, I'd want to be purchasing development rights and getting it so that it's more that 2.9.
As far as productive ag land, it's not, never has been, never will be. So as far as a place to build homes other than its elevation, which is a problem for you. It's about as good a place to put homes as there could be from a productive ag perspective, because that thing isn't gonna grow anything other than mosquitoes. So, in that regard,
You probably get to know the Corps better. Corps of Engineers.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, is any of this in the floodplain? I don't know that any of it's in the floodplain.
I think there's a little bit, we actually they're in the process of doing the wetlands delineation right now. We were gonna do it last fall and our delineator says, hey, it doesn't do us any good unless it's springtime. And of course, we're in a drought anyway, so they have to take that into consideration.
Right. But as far as there being anything natural left on this, it'd just be down on the west end, because this has all been
It's
scraped
Yeah.
scraped and worked.
and worked for decades.
Yep.
It's never been productive, but it's been improved, so to speak, in that regard. In order to irrigate it. So,
I think your biggest hang up is your ingress and your
Yeah.
egress.
I agree with
One
that.
of them.
I agree with them.
And,
So we're debating what zone should be applied here.
do we wanna zone it if there's not something that's worse than that?
Well, so the development agreement would require those egresses to exist. There's already too many homes at the end of 2200, so it's already dead end with too many.
And it's a narrow street, that's.
So they'll need to improve 2200 and then build another egress before they can even get their first building permit.
load it up for some density.
So zone
And
counts
we'll work out those details in the MDA and get out of it what it, we'll get a compensation out of it.
That's kind of my thought as well. As far as the zone goes, we were talking a little bit about maybe this can be traditional neighborhood zone R2, right? So we've got TN Bennett, maybe this is TN McFarland, or do you have a name for it?
We call it environment.
TN McFarland. So it's its own zone. Governed by.
Unless they don't want their name in the permanent records of the.
They probably don't, because as I recall, there's only some others, there were some McFarland's here along that same avenue.
Well, that was somebody else's property though, right?
Yes.
Look at name
nice
tags,
that you mentioned
along
that,
the way there, Charlie. The other one, but-
Yeah, oh yeah, we don't
Well,
have.
that's
to
the
come up
names
with
now. We're gonna figure it out now.
You got it.
names.
Oh, yeah, Tim Charlie.
No, thank you. You're after the plan. But, so we could do TN, we could do any of the R zones with a MPDOZ. JDC, we did, what, 3 or 4 of the R zones, with MPDOZ. I don't know that it's truly representative in JDC of what's going in. I'd kind of rather just do special zone, especially if they're trying to get consistent blocks so they could swap out or mix and match.
That's what I was worried about, having that flexibility. As long as they're stuck to a certain density, I don't really want to dictate too much more.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
I think the TN zone is gonna help us with that, cause it's fairly loose as far as the code goes, and then we can get to the details of the development.
Well, allows some flexibility too, because as we phase it, we want to have more than just one product in phase one. We want to have 3 or 4 products in phase one, and then go to the next phase, 3 or 4 products, and so we can design it that way.
For us dummies, what's TN again, Charlie?
Sorry, traditional neighborhood.
Yeah, thank you.
TN, no, you're,
Couldn't put it together, got the neighborhood, but couldn't remember the T.
Just for trade.
Okay.
In that 600 pages, didn't you?
Yeah. I read it too many times.
600 pages.
The musical coming out next month. This one's been working on it.
Commissioners, any other questions or comments on that one?
We're good for now.
Okay,
Thank you very much for your time.
thank you.
Feedback, appreciate it.
And these are all appreciated. Like, visuals are very. Especially for those of us who want to.
You can have a visual, so this is a good.
Yeah.
Okay, wow, that our.
So tell them their money is well.
So thanks for that.
Thank you.
Take a look at that, or so maybe the stuff that's.
Very. Next item. Okay. Next item is a discussion regarding the proposed zone from A1 to R115 for approximately 20 acres at 3661 west, 1400 south. And so are you giving us a rundown on this or?
Yeah, so we've got the Alfonsi's here.
Yeah, okay.
We'll just kind of part of herself. Look, my mom's 101 years old, guys. So
Awesome.
the fact that we sat through this meeting an hour and a half was pretty good. Just we should get a medal for that, just alone, but it's been interesting.
Well, come and join us every couple of times a month. We do it all the time.
We just want you to be able to be having regrets even at your age.
Wish I wouldn't have went to that meeting.
Yeah.
What? Is that what you just said? How old?
One, she was 16.
That's awesome.
How is it person?
Kind of the last Italian left out there.
Jeez.
I'm gonna move this so I can see.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. You guys need any water or anything?
Nope, we're great.
Okay. So you can see on the board, on the screen, this is the Alfonsi property. Am I saying that name right?
Alfonsi,
Okay, I just want to make sure I got that right. They've got about 20 acres there. Just get a feel for the area. This is Stagecoach Estates. This property is the Martini Legacy. And then you've got, what was that one called?
Caps was down below.
That's Anselmi.
Anselmi, yep. Yeah, and Cap's own property here, not currently proposed for development, but I understand you're working with them on some possibility. Yeah, so as far as connectivity goes, we've already got a plan for 1600 to come through, and I've been chatting with Sean about that. We've also got a 1500 street, which might come through maybe around there. Actually, it will come through on this subdivision right around there. And so I chatted with Sean about that too. So I'll pull up the concept plan. Sean's not having a professional developer run this, and I think what we have from him so far is great in comparison.
Charlie's been freaking wonderful to work with. And we've been working with landmark surveyors, but they just didn't have time to update this. So this is kind of my hand drawn one. We originally gave a thing of 80 lots, which we think the sewer and the water people approved. But then Charlie brought up all the other stuff, connectivity, open space, all that kind of stuff. The orange line down at the bottom, we bought that property 15 years ago, always assuming that was gonna be 1600 south. And then go straight across, through Caps and to Giorgio and all the way, 4300. And, it really's kind of almost been the motivation of why we're here, is as Stagecoach started to develop, as Martini started to develop, those options started to not become options for us. And for something we just assumed would always be the way it would be. Martini put the 1575 in there and the Stagecoach one below put a line of houses right along the property line. So you can't put a road on both sides of their property. And so it almost forced us to kind of have to do that angled road so we could get out our access road all the way over to 3500. But at the same time, be nice to the neighbors and hook into their roads at 1575 and 1500 up above.
We like those lines to line up.
Yeah, we thought they would too, but it just turned out.
Well, it doesn't look like you're too far off though. I mean, right, Charlie, with where Martini's is coming through.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it'll work itself out. So even if a rezone wasn't granted on the Cap property next door, if they just went with the A1 zone and got 40,000 square foot lots, there's
Right.
still a requirement to hook into and extend roads that are stubbed in. So if you got it stubbed in on this side, stubbed in on this side, I mean, their requirement's gonna be to finish that off. Even if it's stub in and snake it down if they need to.
So on that 1500 south extended going west, that would be right on the Cap property there. Not that that matters, but just curiosity.
That's kind of, there's Ropalato and her nephew Randy that owns that part.
Right.
And so it really is on the ditch line, it appears, because I kind of followed it over from Martini, and that's where the irrigation ditch has always been.
Right.
So it kind of lines up nice that way. And they're gonna put a Mormon ward, they're gonna put a Mormon ward right there on the corner,
Right.
5 acres, and so that's coming too, so that'll take a big chunk of that top square out. And then you just have the base, I think Greenwell owns that property right there, that kind of has the, across from 1500 right there.
Wait,
so-
who owns that from?
I think Greenwell owns that
Yeah,
property.
Greenwell owns the one where it would extend to 3500.
Like the red properties down.
No, it's the.
Oh, yeah,
I was gonna go to the.
that whole thing might be the church part, yeah.
No.
Church, the
No.
church owns the corner,
We already did the zoning for the church. We've already seen that.
Oh.
but the church,
We see that's the water district.
the church.
I don't recall seeing this.
Water district, sorry.
The corner of 1400 and 3500, but then next to it is Gary and Joe Greenwell.
Yeah.
They own that piece that's to the.
So what's
south.
the red shaded areas? The blue's the detention basin. What's the red shaded
There
areas?
you
and what's that?
go. Sorry, let me give that to red shaded.
That's your parks.
There we go.
Oh, the red,
They made us put parks in there. Charlie made us put parks in there. I kind of like the idea.
Is the blue your retention?
Retention.
I thought we'd just take a donation for this area, because I don't think don't we have a park
because it's
close
so
enough?
close that
No, we don't. The park's over at Ropalatos,
Yeah, it's so
and
close.
you're gonna have a trail all the way there.
Yeah, I don't think I'd wanna see small parks like that.
Okay.
Where I'm at.
I think Lance wants to say something.
No.
What is that?
Pass out here.
Want to have a heart attack. Small.
In our plan, we have two large community parks. One is down in Ropies and the other one will hopefully be up north that we're working with. A really good developer that we're happy to work with. But then that doesn't fill the need. We need neighborhood parks. And can you imagine a mommy pushing a baby cart, and let's say she's got twins, so she's pushing, got two others running by her, and they have to walk a half a mile to a mile to a
Does she
park.
have a limp too?
She's got a
She's got a 40-ounce mug.
Okay.
Yeah, she's in a bill carrying bucket.
We really don't want to have a mommy pushing more than a quarter of a mile, so half a mile apart. So we need a park up here.
I'm a mommy that can push it a mile, I'm telling you.
Well, not all mommies are as fit as you.
All mommies should.
They're gonna get in the car.
And we need one over there, where we've been trying to do some other developers and try to have one there, so that we've got, the park's gonna be almost a mile from Roby.
So how big is that?
Yeah,
We need a 4 to 5 acre park over here, and
Exactly.
last year I was thinking of approaching you folks about buying some of your ground. But then I had some health problems, and so I've been out of commission for the past 10 months, but. We would love to have a park up here, because look at all those homes in Martinis and so on and so forth up there.
Yeah, but are those bigger than a park? You got a pocket park though. 'Cause-
No, they're not a pocket park, 4 to 5 acre park, it's not a
Yeah,
pocket.
but I don't think you're getting 4 or 5.
That's 1 acre on the top, 1 acre on the.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's not what we're.
Right.
Yeah,
We need
that's
a,
gonna work there.
we need a 4 to 5 acre park, and,
But now that you rebuild your carts, you may be willing to buy 5 acres from you and we'll have to.
We don't have money to buy that.
Let,
He said he was coming to talk to him about.
let me step back and
Maybe
tell you
that's
what,
gonna donate it.
one of the, in the narrative, we write this up. And what was kind of important to my mom is her mother, where she grew up is still on 1400 South, and it's a little white house about 30 feet by 30 feet. And she raised 3 brothers and my mom, you know, Italians. And I can remember Gus Favero, and all the Italians used to go to my grandmother's house. Every Sunday, they'd play bocce or cards or something. And so to my mom, you know, the spirit of this is as we drive around, these mansions, you know, they're wonderful homes, they're beautiful. But that's not how we started, you know, this block between 1400 and 1800, from 3500 to 4700 in the 1900s was called Little Italy. Because there's so many Italians. And if you read my narratives, I think there's 10 Italian names. Favero, Bertoldi, DeGiorgio, I mean, and Selmy. I could go down the list of how many Italians. And so our spirit of this was, you know, we can't have Little Italy, but we wanted to, those houses up on 21st and 22nd and Porter Avenue, they're kind of a set design, with maybe 2 or 3 different designs, have the garage in the back. That's what we're hoping for. That
You just spoke my language.
a developer will come in, give them 3 choices of houses, colors and fences. But that's the kind of neighborhood where the garage sits in the back and it's a small home, starter home. I don't know if I go that far because I'm not sure what that range would be, but you know, we drove by the Privedale. I never seen that many kids in my neighborhood for 40 years. There were 20 kids playing out in the street. That's what we're trying to do. That's why the 1 acre parks. We call them tree parks because we're hoping they're gonna be all trees and really kind of almost be like the Italian. Her parents came from the mountains in Italy. So we wanted them to be a lot of trees and more like a, you know, not playground but you know, hey, end of the day, you just wanna walk through the trees kind of deal. So that's why we kept it small. You know, that's why the 4 to 5 acres, you know. I don't know if it'll work with our 20 acres. I wish we could get some of the name. Oh, yeah, there's the houses I put in our narrative. My mom and I just drove bags of those on the way here and we love them. We think they're great. So they're a little bit more modern, but at the same time, the idea of keeping up with the Joneses go away. Because everybody's house is the same size, basically. And so that's kind of if there was a goal of our little piece of property, you know, given all the constraints that Charlie's given us with the roads and connectivity and all that.
Don't you love to be the guy that gives those?
They've passed all the tests so far.
Yeah, that's what we're leaning towards and why we felt that. The other thing is the park, especially the one up north. Those people on 1400 South Surges, Greenville, Leon, they've lived there 70 years. You know, they're still alive. I'd like them to see trees, you know, I don't care about their kids, but you know, I'd rather have that transition be slow for them. They'll have the ward down the street. And so a nice park at the front end and even at the tail end, I think was a good combination, a good middle ground. We don't know how you guys treat the whole 60 feet by 1300 feet, the roadway. It's basically 2 acres, but we're hoping, you know, we're not gonna build on that, but everybody gains for us having that road there. Everybody west of us, everybody south of us. And so we're hoping that, you know, you guys will consider small parks. That extra 2 acres we gave up for the roadway that everybody will use to get to 3500 will be enough of a, you know, I don't know, a bargaining tool to say, hey, we tried to be neighborly to everybody. But that's what we're trying to do here.
I love the spirit of it. I think it's great.
Yeah.
Not problem, but a concern is if the park's not big enough that the park district wants to take it, then who cares for it? You know, where's the perpetual care come from? And that's, you know, I don't know if we have any, you know, I don't know, Lance is, what?
Well, if we, this purpose, you know, we could maybe sit down and figure out a compromise, you know, get it engineered and.
I
figure
think
it out.
we would be, maybe it's already been said, but I feel like it hasn't. I think you have another option as well, and that is no park and have a donation to the park.
Yeah, Charlie told me that.
Because in my opinion, a spot that is this small, that's probably would be a better use of the funding and space. Is for you to put some more lots on there, so you can have the money paid for parks close to there, or to make a better park, or to help plants keep the weeds down in the park we currently have.
Yeah.
That would be my preference too. I love the concept. I think it'll be a great community. I'd love the detached garage in the back. These lots are gonna be big enough that I don't see a need for the pocket or these small parks that you've planned. What is the density of parks? I thought a mile radius is plenty.
So the Parks District, their parks plan says that they'd like to see small parks. One small park within a half mile of every front door, and one regional park, was it 5 miles? But then I think it was.
So it worked out, you wanted Taylor, one in West Weaver.
And where we have trails, I consider that to be park access, and so I just don't think financially it's a great idea for the county to be engaging in these little parks and just letting HOAs do them if they want them. And I feel like these parks are more situated for very small lots, and these lots, because we're still just doing the R115, yeah, I think there's plenty of space on these lots that they can have a trail to get to the larger parks, and I'd rather see the donation go towards the larger park to have a better facility that they have access to. Otherwise, yeah, I think it's great. Might need more attention possibly,
Yeah,
and so maybe that's.
A consideration in regard to what Commissioner DeMel and Commissioner Wickern are saying is maybe you could even, in your conversations with the Parks District, maybe you could make an area of that bigger park through the potential donation that would be kind of a dedicated area like what you're talking about.
Like a
I mean,
pavilion, that's the little
yeah.
Italy pavilion or
Yeah,
something
just-
that pays homage
just
to
some
the
other-
community.
Yeah, some other options or opportunities, because yeah, the bad thing about that is that it is, my concern is what happens to that down the road. HOAs aren't great. There's not enough code for HOAs
To maintain
that
it.
makes it happen. And it's unfortunate because it's a benefit to the community, but we just don't have that at the moment.
What kind of trails do we have in that area? I
so
just
we've got
think
a
that,
trail that runs down, so this is the project here, we got a trail that runs right down this road right here, comes out, trail comes across here, and it will, construction on this right here is gonna start very soon, and there will be a stub that goes right to the park, so it'll be a direct, I mean.
just
little-
making sure that there is some sort of a connection to the community. To me, the trails are parks as well. That's what people keep saying they want, are the trails, because they just want somewhere to roam. And the trails are a linear park that's easy to make accessible to everybody.
Well, when we talked about it in the meeting on Thursday, that was what we went over, was the connectivity for the trail to get to that other part, because I didn't know the whole backstory of why you were wanting to put the park there until just now.
Yeah.
That's understood and I get it.
Done.
And I think it's a great thought. I just don't know what the practicality of it is. That's,
Nobody wants the sewages, man.
well, there's that too.
Only Ron's left.
Yeah, I know.
I just saw him today. He's okay.
What if these guys are working with the cats, and or, the Robolatos, what if there was an opportunity to get a park, a 5-acre park here?
Great,
Think
As
that-
long as it's contiguous, like.
yeah, great.
Yeah.
And
Then we would ask the parks, I don't think it's that different.
Caps agreed to put the road at 1575 and 1500. I don't think they need the money or they don't see the development, and her nephew Randy, he's tough, so he ain't gonna give. Yeah, I don't see that, but.
No worries.
Randy's rock.
Put out some.
You know Randy, yeah, Randy, yeah, he's from rough.
Okay,
What if we
A
combine
mile.
both, oh, you guys want 4 to 5 acre parks, yeah, that's.
well,
Well, they're talking
what-
about combining
that's what-
it
Oh,
yeah,
with caps and.
yeah, Jacob and.
But a 4 to 5 acre park, that close to, how big's that other park? 30, 40 acres to one of these?
32.
Y'all
32.
are saying it's close, it's not. when you're talking about.
It's a walk away.
I saw today.
We're talking about neighborhood parks. Well, then you guys come join the board, okay?
No, but it is, it's
They're on-
close, it's closer than you think. I mean, I live right by you and walk to 12th Street every day and back. But I feel like that's not really that far, especially if you're getting to cut through neighborhood. I mean, elementary.
We
school,
spend
you're required to walk miles.
having somebody right of that damn plan.
How about we do it this way, so that we keep our meeting going and serious? We understand that there is a need or a desire for more parks, bigger parks. But we already have our opinion on what we feel like is appropriate for this property. And I think that stays in here and we can just go talk about it this way, so.
That's fair.
Yeah. That's perfect.
Okay.
Good job, Casey.
Sorry.
No wonder you hate the big.
Drove Marta.
Okay.
Come back, Marta,
I
we'll
think-
behave.
I think we've got enough to work with. Sean will give you a call within the next couple of days and we can work on little adjustments and chat with Lance or think about other park options as well.
But basically, you guys are saying, get rid of the parks, go with purchasing the 7,500, whatever you guys said.
Well, it's, yeah, it's a donation rather than.
Yeah,
rather than
donation.
taking up land,
That's
taking
right.
up money.
So we make our lots a little bigger.
Well,
Yeah.
you can make more.
Or more,
I don't know if we can make more.
So,
I thought we originally,
20 acres.
the landmark surveyors came back with 80. But then Charlie said the formula they used was wrong and the most we can have is 59. And we have 59 with the two parks.
Oh, you do have 59.
But he's got trails.
I don't know where they got their purpose on.
I was like, that's pretty more than that.
So if we see that that's,
Well, wait a minute.
we combine the two parks then, if that's better for them, I'm not opposed to it, I just,
Put it all in one piece.
yeah,
2 acre park.
yeah.
But here's my plan, just working in the back of my head. Let's see if you guys, if this passes the sniff test. I wanna see if I can work with Sean, Lance, and the Caps. And figure out, can we get Sean's 2 acres and maybe some of the Caps property at some point in the future? And if we can get 4 or 5 acres out of that, there could be a park here. If we can't, then the other option would be donation, and that could be the financial donation, or it could be an in-kind donation.
Okay, and then,
When I
and I
say-
have maybe one more alternative, if that doesn't work, and we end up having to do the donation. Will the home that you're proposing fit on a smaller lot? And we up the density a little bit? And we have that conversation.
Well, the density's set with our equation. for the
It doesn't have to
RPC,
be, we can work with that, we can negotiate that.
But I don't know why we would.
But you guys,
Because, well, the reason I think it is because I know that those aren't 30 acre lots, that those homes are on over here on between 22nd and 23rd.
those are.
They're smaller than 30 acre
6,000
lots.
square foot lots.
How many?
6,000.
Yeah, and they actually look good on that size of a lot. It maybe could be a little bit better. My son almost bought one of them. That's how I know them inside now, right over here on just on
They're
our corner,
really neat.
a couple blocks north.
Oh, yeah, you can build a nice house.
And you could put that house, it may not, 6,000 may be a little smaller than what you want or what's appropriate. But 8 would certainly do it.
I think right now it's 8,000 square feet is our lots.
Yeah, those ones over here are deep, they're long and deep.
Yeah, they're long and deep. We like that. You kind of have the house and driveway along the side,
Nice.
garage in the back.
Right.
We like
Right.
it too.
Oh,
Yeah,
you like it too? Okay.
That was
I like
the
it.
flavor of the general plan was looking at not having garages face the street,
Oh.
having.
Oh, we love that.
Porches, yeah.
Oh, awesome. So everybody's good. Oh, good, good.
And
I
yeah,
wasn't sure if that was the hard sell,
no.
the easy
no,
sell. Okay,
we were
good.
trying to
That-
tell people to do it.
Good.
So we're glad you're bringing that to us.
So what could we get in that area that's being held out for parks? And what would it up the density to?
Sorry.
What,
Oh,
I'm sorry.
What was?
What would the density be if you took the parks out and put the houses in? If these are nominally 8,000 square foot lots?
81, yeah.
Let's do a little bit of math here.
What
So
do you
this would be
think?
done development agreement instead of the zoning to R115.
Yeah,
we
we
do a development agreement.
probably still do the R115, but through the development agreement, give an additional amount. Yeah, and I don't know how the commissioners are gonna feel about that, but, I think that they're gonna want an honest, recommendation from you guys, so one way or the other.
Well, I don't think, well, at least I don't feel like I'm completely sold either way. I think we just wanna make sure they know they have options.
Options.
And I don't want them feel like they have to have two tiny parks if it's not really gonna benefit the community.
Right, exactly.
If they feel like for their neighborhood, that's gonna benefit it, then we can consider that, but I feel like even combining it would be better. I'm trying to think of, they're 1 acre each, right? So 2 acres together is a pretty good, I have 3 acres at home, and I'm looking at 2 of them, I'm like, that's a pretty damn good sized park.
That's
Like for a neighborhood that size especially,
I could put it right in the middle.
and a 1 acre park would, yeah, so even if we just got rid of one, I don't know, I think that.
Well, right in the middle would be a great spot.
Yeah,
So, if you're just doing the raw calculation, it's 108 units, but that's probably where the 80 came from. Because if you take the, streets out of it, I think you're probably closer to 80 or 90, with all of them being 8,000 square feet.
Right.
and right in the middle might be better, if you go back to his image. Now I'm thinking about having a park next to that main road that's proposed.
Oh, it's that darn road in the middle. That's what's divided.
So
up.
really, it's 3 parks. Cause you don't consider a park.
So then if you do
Have
a
a
park,
road
who
in
takes
it,
care of it?
Say that again,
If you do a park, who takes care of it? Have we decided that?
it'd have to be donated to the Parks District and they don't want something that's small, right? But and I totally understand their perspective if they don't want it, because that's a lot to maintain a little park, right? At a time.
It's like I said, let me get with Sean and we can maybe work out a compromise.
Yeah, we suggest, we hope that you do that. But I think we can still continue having our conversation here.
One, Charlie, both those streets going down. I mean, if they had a park in the middle, they don't really need, they might, I'm just trying to think if we can.
They got egress on either side, but the future plan of that 1500 south, is that what that is?
Yeah,
That's,
so it's all the way over.
that's almost,
Well, the one through the middle, but the 2 going down, I'm wondering if like one leg of it doesn't have to be there, can be the park. And reduce some of the road.
Mhm.
Like how much the road we need, or if there's just one kind of squiggles, like kind of do something pretty, I don't know the area is, but. That looks like a lot of road.
Yeah, we could talk about that. So what I'm hearing, if there's gonna be a park here, best to have it all together. And if we can try and get it maybe up on a border next to a landowner who might be willing to do the same, then
And make it bigger.
we're in a little bit better situation. Otherwise, put some effort into the existing park.
Sean and Anna, are you okay having options and, or
Oh,
would
this
you
is
want
great,
more
you
of a
guys.
precise?
No, you guys are
Okay.
great. And I
So I'm not sure we're not giving you
Charlie's
game or something specific, we're not giving you a hate for you to do, but.
Okay.
No,
We like
this is
Charlie,
kind of a brainstorming session that we all needed, so.
We appreciate you being willing to do it.
Perfect.
It's easier this way.
And like
Charlie, how do we get from 59 to say 108?
Yeah, so the question is if we took the 20 acres and we divided it by 8,000 square feet, how many units does that turn into? And just the gross number would turn into 108.
And how does that mix with 2.9
So
on our density
the 2.9 is where the 59 units come
for
from.
the county? I'm just wondering.
Yeah, so
How do we jump to that?
that would be up to you guys. It'd be a legislative decision on whether or not you just give the extra, or kind of like a bonus. If you want to.
We got that authority.
Well, county commissioners do, but you can give them a
We can
recommendation.
give an idea.
If you guys remember the Navy Meadows, they talked about townhomes in the corner. And you guys were comfortable if they were doing townhomes and some affordability, giving them a little bit extra density. They loved the idea that we took it to the county commissioners. The commissioner said, we don't want it to be any extra density. You could still do the townhomes, but no extra density. And so they had to take some of the townhomes and they turned them into patio homes, and reduced a couple of lots. And they still made it work, but that's an R115 zone that has townhomes in it. So it's still possible. I just don't know if the commissioners are gonna buy it.
And I don't know if the commissioners will buy it either, but these style of houses on an 8,500 square foot lot. I don't think it gets better than that myself.
I agree.
So,
And that being said, a little bit
That
bigger
would
lot
be the hard sell.
reduces the need for a park,
That's funny.
because you have a yard.
well,
You
true,
already have a place, true.
but I think that house, I don't like that. You're saying put it on the 3rd acre.
No, I'm saying if you're saying it's a little bit bigger lot for that same house.
Yeah.
You're getting a
Right.
space for that
For
person.
the family.
Individual.
Well, if we go 108, it's not gonna be that bad.
That's true.
but
Options.
anyways. There's, yeah, options is right. That's right.
And Cammy, if you decide to take Lance up on his offer of joining the parks planning thing, you do a hell of a good job.
Thank
so.
you, I appreciate that.
But you have to. stay
I
on this
know
one
you
too.
could whip Lance.
Yeah, you do both.
And I think we're gonna make a walking club.
That's what all these trails are for. Just for you.
Being alive.
Oh, you guys have?
Every day,
Oh, it's good.
every day,
Join that.
Very good.
an hour.
Holy smoly.
Okay,
I've seen Casey out there.
well, hopefully that gets you
Thank you. for
headed in
your
a
time.
direction.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Hopefully my mom will live to see your decision.
She will. She will. She will.
Jesus.
Put it realistic there, so if she lives long enough for you guys to decide, then we get the
Don't do that,
rezoning.
you put a skate park.
Yeah, there we go. I like skate park, I know that. He's for sure in her wheelchair.
It's a process.